It might feel that you're making all the effort to gain some stability and quality of life, but in midlife, things still don't work out. Why? The reason might be that the foundation which is needed for growth and change during midlife is missing, or some aspects of it are missing. The reasons you're searching for might be elsewhere compared to what you're expecting. If the foundation for change and growth is not sufficient, it might be that all your efforts go to waste, and you don't want to waste your time and energy. Let's go to the first topic now, which is stories you're telling yourself. Why are stories so important? All the events that you have stored in your mind as memories are in one or another way told in stories. You can access them consciously through language and stories. The selection of those events that you save as stories matters tremendously. Listen to these real-life examples which illustrate so clearly why these stories matter. A client of mine was told as a boy, "You have always been an outright fool," after he had locked the car key inside the car. The man who told this was somebody the boy respected a lot. So as he had a strong bond with this man, this was extremely difficult and left a deep scar. Over time, this client consolidated this story with some other negative events from his life. And it started to be a long, complete story made of several episodes, telling himself that you basically are a fool, for you it's difficult to accomplish tasks, and you're often messing up things. The story had turned into some kind of emotion or partially unconscious state of mind, which was triggered in certain situations. These trigger situations were, for example, job interviews and complex tasks which needed thinking out of the box. Was this the only significant event and only story which has potential to define this person? Definitely not. But as a kid, I think he didn't have enough awareness to make conscious decisions which stories to save and collect and which are going to define his identity. You can see every life event as a trigger which activates certain stories and therefore evokes a specific state of mind. Let's go back to the example of my client. Let's call him John. And this example conveys clearly why it matters so much which stories we tell ourselves. John was dismissed from his job quite unexpectedly, and for him it was a shock because safety and known territory and a zone of comfort was crucial for him. So when he got a grip and went to the job interviews for the first time, he was really struggling because the default mental background was this sentence pounding, "You are an outright fool." He wasn't even really aware of this. When he finally gathered himself and went to the first job interview, he was struggling deeply because the mental state he had was influenced by this sentence, "You're an outright fool." So the mind was preoccupied with those negative thoughts because of this story. For him, the solution was to actually become aware of this story and then confront it. So there are actually several ways how to confront it. One is going into the story in your imagination and then finding a different solution. For example, telling this man that, yes, I know I made this mistake, but I'm very well able to solve it and get this car key from the car. Or collaborate with this man. For example, go to him and say that, yes, I'm sorry, I made this mistake, but maybe we could find out together how to get this key from the car. There is tons of research about imagination, and imagery works almost as these events would have happened in the physical world. So through revising and changing the story, you deeply impact the way how you relate to different situations. The other powerful strategy is to replace stories which are triggered in certain situations. For being able to replace those stories which are triggered, you need to stop for a second and analyze, okay, what's happening? Which story is emerging right now? And then you pick another story. Suppress the negative story in trigger situations and replace it with a better story. And then you will also have a very different mindset and different potential of behavior in the situation. If you work on it, sooner or later, you will experience a deep shift in your identity if you confront those stories. Both strategies actually work well, and for him it was a solution that over time changed his behavior and mental state in that kind of situations. I think that the most powerful is using both strategies, because even if you replace those stories with better stories, the negative story is still there and still gives a tone in your whole sense of self. So changing this story and adding more control and positivity to this also has a very positive impact. Using imagination and also replacing stories support each other and work synergistically. These methods allow your actions to align with the person you aspire to become. Thank you for watching.